Hello sellers, once again, welcome to another episode of Laz-Talk. Now today I'll be your host today. I'll be replacing Hao Yang. My name is Belun. I'm from Seller Engagement Team today, talking to you about one of the topics that you might be interested in. And to begin the new series of the new year itself, we also want to invite different various teams of Lazada itself to help you understand the bigger ecosystem of how Lazada works and how other teams actually help to build the Lazada ecosystem itself. So today we have Valerie from the search team itself. Valerie, can you introduce yourself?
Hello, hi, I'm Valerie, so I'm part of the search team.
Yeah, so Valerie, of course, I think search is a very important aspect of the whole Lazada ecosystem itself, and sellers of course will be definitely very interested to know what do you do on a regular basis itself.
Okay, so the main priority of the search team is to ensure that users find what they are looking for. So on a regular basis, we do a lot of back-end work that involves troubleshooting as well as algorithm work. So some examples of algorithm work includes like mapping relevant categories to search terms. So for example, if you search for Apple phones or Samsung phones, then mobile phones category will be recorded on your search results page. But if you look for something more generic, like just the brand itself, like Samsung or other generic search term, then we'll have to map like more categories to this search term of Samsung. For example, TV, mobile phones, washing machine, and fridges, etc. So another example of algorithm work that we do includes ensuring like brands that we just onboarded be easily found. So on a regular basis, we also help to monitor any illegal queries and audit the health of the product images on the homepage to ensure a clean homepage for all users. So you don't see any like frisky images or you don't see any disgusting images on your homepage when you open Lazada app.
Yeah, so you must know that search does not just also lose other sanity of your search page itself, but also ensures that everything there is supposedly safe for work, right? At least they're safe for work. The whole purpose of the contents to be safe for work, and also like when you search specific keywords, you actually see the correct products that you are actually want to look out for itself. So I think with that in mind, sellers will always ask, like I think we'll always go to a lot of sessions and talk to like new sellers will always ask me this question: how does the search bar really work?
Okay, so the search bar is actually used by 40 to 50% of the users in Lazada, and it's a key source of traffic in Lazada with around 72% click-through rate. So my role is very important as the search part of the search team. So if you imagine using Lazada without the search bar, as shown on the example, and you are looking for page hits, how would you go about doing it? You have to go through like 3 different steps. You have to click on the categories icon first, and then home and lifestyle category, and then click on the page list. So if you compare this to the search bar of just clicking one on like just searching page sheet instead, then it's a one step. It's much more convenient. So the search bar is very important. So this also brings us to the next question, like what if you are looking for something more specific, like Egyptian cotton page sheet? So this will makes it very difficult without the search bar. So what's interesting about this search bar is that when users search using the search bar, their intent is very specific. For example, if they search dress Singapore seller, user is specifically looking for a dress that ships from Singapore and not the cross-border sellers. So this is very important for the search bar, and for how the search bar works, there are 2 key concepts. So you can see in the examples is recall and relevance. So under recall is the total number of products that the algorithm thinks that is relevant to the search queries that you have input. So, and then a subset of recall is relevance, which is out of all this total number of products that you recall, exactly how many is really relevant to the search queries. So how does the search bar ensure a good recall and good relevance are based on the number of criteria. So some criteria are actionable by the sellers. So this is time for the cool cat here. So in the example, you can see this cat. So I hope you remember this cat because primarily the search bar recalls the products by CAT. So C stands for categories, which is you have to input your categories, the products in the right categories. And then A stands for attributes, which is like descriptions of your products like materials, tray, pattern, size, etc. And this is what what the users use to search for as well. And then T stands for title. So you must have the right keywords in order for the title to be retrieved. But do not cram too many keywords into the title because it will cause us to deactivate your products if your title is irrelevant to the product that you are featuring. Then you can see on the cool cat, right? This is how it looks like on the seller center. You have the title, the category, the attribute. So this one looks quite plain. It's not as a cool cat, but still important, okay? So you have to fill in the details correctly. So, but one thing to note is that it seems like the search team is very powerful in ensuring your products are shown. Unfortunately, we are unable to rank your products manually. Ranking means like we are unable to feature your products in the specific SKU's position, or like in the first row, the second row of how the results appear. Because this ranking is dependent on a few criteria such as your GMV performance, your price competitiveness, the service that you provide, customer satisfaction, and more. Yeah, so actually, if you improve on all these, right, generally the algorithm will push your products up to a higher ranking.
Wow, that's incredible! I think you explained quite a bit into the whole concept. I think the key takeaway definitely is the CTA, which is the
CAT, cool cat.
Cool cat. Yeah, so it's the category that the seller must definitely have their products in. That's one. Then after that, they must have the right attribute input. So that's why I think the attributes must be will definitely sellers definitely as much as they feel definitely that'll be better for them, right?
Yeah.
Like I know mobile phones have like 20 attributes. Do you fill in all 20 attributes?
I think you try to fill in as many attributes that you think that the customers will relate your products to. So for example, let's go back to the bedsheet examples. If you know that people are generally more specific about the materials that they are looking for, so it will be good if you can input the material in the attribute. Because when people search for, they will not just put bedsheets, they might put like cotton bedsheets or like tensile bedsheets, things like that. So that will help to recall your products easily.
Yeah, I think that will definitely help. I think CA and the TT, last one is the title, right? So title, of course, put things that are relevant. I know like some of the tips and tricks I know seller teach each other was there to put, like say, some people search, when you search, I think the example like they bed sheets, they will put bed sheet and bed sheets, and then they will put bed, then they'll put a lot of different variant of like bed. Do you recommend this kind of actions, like putting like they are like brainstorming the multiple possibilities that the title could appear, or a different consumer will type the title?
Yeah, I think for title, right, it's good if you can have a little bit more variation on the different types of products that on the different types of keywords that the user will search for. So it's good that if you think through the customers, your target group of customers, how they search and what do they type. So for bed sheets and all this, I think actually if you just put one, it's enough, because our algorithm is able to pick up like bed sheet or bed sheets. So maybe you can put more crucial keywords such as like brand, and also the material or like the attributes, certain important attributes, you can put it on your title. Or even like for example, the Dress Singapore seller, if your target audience is mostly from Singapore, you can also include like SG in stock or Singapore sellers. Things like that can help to in a way make your product more visible.
So that of course I think you're proposing additional keywords for sellers, but again, put relevant keywords. I think there was a term for that you use that say so what is the worst thing that can happen if they put something not relevant? I know like during COVID there were a lot of people who put a lot of funny search terms for their product on, especially like things of masks, like sanitizers. They try to put a lot of funny word terms. So what's the worst thing that can happen if they cram irrelevant words into their products?
Okay, the worst thing that happened is because we call this title abuse. So you put in keywords that is like not relevant to what you are selling. For example, some attributes like like your bed sheet is made of cotton, but then you go and write it's like some other material, and then if we realize that this is not the right attribute, or maybe if even more serious case like what you just mentioned, like put a lot of funny things, then we will flag this out and deactivate your products, and you never even appear anymore. So I think that's not what you want to have. So please put relevant keywords. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I think when you mention all these, like all these reports probably come from consumers themselves, right? So like, they probably report the listing as irrelevant. They report the, so where do all these feedbacks come to you daily from?
Yeah, so we do get like irrelevant reports feedback card from the users. So you can also feedback on the search page. So sometimes if you scroll and they'll ask you a question, how relevant or how do you find the search results? So you can input like relevant, irrelevant, or like you like it or not. So things like that. So these are some of the feedback that we receive, and also on a very regular basis, we do monitor and check through like the top few keywords of our Lazada app. So for example, if the top keyword is like milk, then we will check through like milk and see if there's any relevant and or irrelevant products. So we will fix this results page, and then we check through whether it's the other items miscategorized, and if they're miscategorized, they also be deactivated, or is it because like a lot of irrelevant products are appearing because they are having title abuse. So these are some of the ways that we do check through this kind of like irregularities.
That sounds like a lot of work actually on a daily basis. Just depending on the amount of things that people do. I know like SQs are being uploaded like thousands a day, and we have like probably the same mistakes are always done by the same people over and over again. So I think just now you also mentioned about like of course you can't control like which appear first, which appears last, because of there are factors that of course there are certain factors that you cannot control, like GMV, like click-through rate, maybe your pricing competitiveness, and maybe your reviews. I think all these pretty much are not controllable by sellers to a certain extent. But are there anything that sellers can really do to improve, like to slowly grow their ranking, their search ranking over time?
Okay, so I think really one of the most important point that I want to drive through is really remember the cool cat. So the categories, attributes, and titles. So you really have to make sure that your products are tagged to the correct categories and leave categories, complete the attribute fields, and input a good title. So I think that these three will really help to have boost your ranking, or not ranking, boost your searchability. And because these three are the things that is really within your control. So placing the products in the right category is very important. So for example, in the slides below, when I search for coconut water, I see listings of like Ribena and mango juice cup, which should not belong under this search term coconut water. So this should be a problem when users try to search for Ribena and your products will not appear. So because category is one of the important way the search bar recalls the products. So by placing the right category is like a first step to winning this search battle. So attributes, right, is also being used in the product recall and personalization ranking in the search. So you ensure that each product has a complete and accurate attribute will help to improve your product visibility, both in the search as well as the filter. When people click filter, they are able to search by the different attributes. So that will help you as well. So for titles, right, do think about what your target group of customers will search and how they search. So for example, if people search for dress Singapore, you can include SG in stock or something similar in your title. So another example would be a generic search. And this is a real example. Like people search for Hong Kong food, then you make sure that your products include the word Hong Kong so as to improve your visibility. Because Hong Kong food is a very generic term, so it's quite hard to really differentiate yourself. So there's another way you can improve your product visibility is to bring in products that are popular in Lazada. That means that a lot of people are searching for it. but right, it's our assortment volume is not big enough. It's quite rare on our Lazada platform. So you can, once you bring these products which is popular but rare on Lazada, the platform can also help to boost your visibility for these products. So these products you can find them in the seller center under opportunities and traffic tools. So you can look at the slide below. This is where you can find like these products that you can bring in order to help boost your ranking or even boost your visibility. Yeah. So I think like these 4 areas are things that the sellers can work on and they can really control in order to boost the search visibility.
Yeah, I think what you mentioned also like very much is applicable to especially new sellers, like new sellers who come into the industry, don't know lost on where to start. I think I'll just quickly summarize what Valerie actually mentioned. I think the cool cat very important. Just keep to your basics. You do it right, you should probably see the results, and of course ensure that your products that you bring in at least are trending products itself. But of course, you have something that Lazada definitely wants. Your product will definitely be seen and then be promoted by our search platforms, because we know that products is in demand. We will definitely promote their products for your consumers to see itself. And of course, if you do you do the basics well, you can always explore a more advanced technique. I don't know that there's a lot more advanced technique that a lot of sellers do to even increase their further search ranking.
Yeah.
Like product images, I think product images is one of them, and then of course to get more reviews as well, definitely to increase your sales for the product. That is all the other factors that sellers cannot have small controls over, but definitely you can also improve over itself. So I think we spent the last quite some time explaining about how to search engine itself. So I think before I think we should also gonna keep it short. Do you have any last advice or anything for sellers who actually I think probably for new sellers who just start selling, besides following the cool cat as well, and then as well as also as doing up their homework, is there anything else you want to tell them, for especially for new sellers?
Okay, so I think I really want to drive home the idea of the cool cat. So because that's really within their control. But the thing is that if they are not sure which category to input their products under, so I think that they can reach out to anyone on Lazada to be able to help them to at least tell them where they can park their products under which category, so that they also don't run the risk of being deactivated or the products are not shown. So these are something that they can do, reach out to us and help to seek optimization in that sense. I think so that's a very important point. I hope that through this this podcast, that's the one thing that they can take away and that are actionable for them.
Of course. Thank you, Valerie. So of course, if sellers you need help, you need advice, you can always join our seller community, our Facebook community, which is Lazada SG Seller Community. It's a closed group. As long as you have your seller ID, we'll allow you access into the group itself, where sellers actually interact and share advice with each other, as well as share tips with each other on how to grow on Lazada itself. Alright, I think I want to thank Valerie for taking time off to actually attend to do this podcast with me, and then of course thank you for actually sharing some of your tips and tricks, as well as providing us insights on actually what search team really does on a daily basis. Alright, I think this is the end of the podcast of Laz-Talk. We'll see you in the next episode, and goodbye. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Lazada.